Hoo, hoo. Greetings, peace and blessings to you and yours. I trust that you are well. So good to see all of you here. Today's session, as per our usual, we'll be getting started. So, getting everybody in the room.
Good morning.
Everyone come in muted. Morning. Trust that all are well. Got our summaries coming. Today's session is a unique session for us. We're going to spend the first few minutes getting into Asar Stance. We're going to get into our usual Qigong. Then we're going to stop there. And then what I'm going to do is to spend a bit of time talking about the African / Taoist Tai Chi Qigong expanded understanding of the human body as it relates to health and healing. I'll be using as some of the guide for that is Great Grandmaster Da Lu's books, primarily Tai Chi Chuan and meditation, but also Tai Chi Chuan and I Ching for reference. And so those are the two primary books that we use in this class in terms of for the Tai Chi practice for beginners, for intermediate practitioners. Those are the two. And I say it that way is because Great Grandmaster wrote between, I think it was like 7 to 10 books on Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, meditation, Taoism, and Taoist healing tools and practices. And then some things related directly to the I Ching, which is known as the Book of Changes, or it's a divination tool. And a lot of that is not directly relevant to what beginners and novice intermediate folks are going to need to get their practice started. So we don't use or depend on those frequently. The goal is to get everyone moving, to get it going, so that we have an opportunity to get further. And then I have a book that I'm going to use just to illustrate kind of the body parts and the body muscles and the things that are utilized in some of the basic movements. And then we'll take questions, which we'll probably not record. So those of you that are online viewing this after the fact, get with us. The goal of much of this art is so that it is directly transmitted from mouth to ear. So we want to be able to honor the tradition in that regard. It's not that it's a secret. It's just that when it is being transmitted and shared, what we want to be able to do is to get it to people in a way that they can actually apply what they're learning. And while this particular medium is useful given our current circumstance and just useful in general, you may not have an instructor near you or close to you. That part is beneficial. There is it's not even really quantifiable, there is a huge benefit to being in person and learning with touch. And that cannot be replaced. And I'm grateful that I'm able to use this medium to reach all of you so that we can do this, so we can move bodies, we can transmute the energy to productive ways so it doesn't remain stuck in the body. These are not the only ways, and so I'm grateful that folks were able to come here and have chosen to spend this time with us. So without belaboring this with too much talking that's not about the body, just kind of set the tone, set the frame for where we're going today. Get where you can see. Let's get into Wu Chi position. And we just need folks to readjust so we can get ready. All right, Wu Chi position. Let's go. All right, Wu Chi position. Bottom is tucked. Let's get in 2 breaths right here with the bellows breathing. Into pyramid hands. 2 breaths. Now we're going to shift the weight to the right leg. Pick up those left toes. You're going to step a little wider than shoulders width. Heel first. Step down. Balance the weight between the legs. Sit down, keeping the bottom tucked. 2 breaths right here. Open the hands into Asar Stance. You want to see the legs as the roots of a tree extending down into the earth. And see your torso as the tree trunk. Your arms are the branches, your hands are the leaves. Your head is suspended above the body. Golden thread extending out into the heavens. Extending the spine from the bottom being tucked all the way up. Expanding, extending, stretching. We're going to go for 12 breaths right here. So let's go ahead and get them in. Keep going. We're continuing in Asar Stance. Four more breaths. Pyramid hands. 2 breaths. Shift the weight to the right leg. Slide that left foot in. Bring those hands down and shake it out. Opposite hand, opposite leg. All right. There we go. Feeling good. All right, Wu Chi position. Pyramid hands. Shift the weight. Step to the left. All right. Down here. And to holding the golden balls. 2 breaths. Rotating the hands into oneness. Toes, knees, and hands all point in the same direction. 2 breaths. Breathing into the turtle, chin down. And out to the drawbridge. 2 breaths. Keep the back flat. Go as far as you can comfortably go. Point the hands between the legs. 2 breaths. Into oneness. 2 breaths. Rabbit through shoot. Don't go past the center of the head. Keep going. And into oneness. Right hand on top of left hand, palms up, thumbs touching. Arms and hands are not touching the body, hands are below the navel. 2 breaths. Rotate the left hand on top of right hand, palms facing each other. See a ball of gold and white light like the sun in the palms of the hands. Breathing into oneness. 2 breaths. Into the turtle, chin down, out to the drawbridge. 2 breaths. Point the hands between the legs for 2 breaths. Into oneness. into pyramid hands. Shift the weight to the right leg. Slide the left foot in. Shake it out, opposite hand, opposite leg. Excellent. Feet parallel, shoulders width. Go to gathering. Bring it in towards the chest. Rotate the hands, palms out. Press it out as the knees bend. Breathing in, the legs straighten but do not lock. Breathing out, moving the hands slowly, the knees bend. Inhale, exhale. And shake it out. Feet parallel, shoulders width again. Fingers interlaced, palms outward. You're going to breathe in, take the hands up and come up onto the balls of the feet. And as you exhale, you're going to bring the hands down. Remember, we do this movement slowly, so we breathe in and out. We're going to do it 8 times, so 7 more. Two more. One more. And our last one. Bring the hands down. And into the KhASA position. Try and get the elbows as high as the shoulders, perpendicular. 90 degrees. And 2 breaths. Hands are facing the head, body's relaxed. Palms forward, 2 breaths. And as we bring the arms down, we go into swinging arms. Let them swing. And stop on their own. Swing down. Breathing in, and we open the chest. Remember keeping the shoulders relaxed. Listening to your body, going as far as you can go. And shake it out. Yes. All right, have a seat. Into a comfortable position where you can place your hands on top of the knees. We're gonna do our breathing exercise. So you're gonna keep the head level. We're gonna breathe as long as the arms today, just to keep that consistent with our last session. Had a little challenge. Those of you that were with us, hopefully raising it now won't invert the Western concept of Murphy's Law. So here we go. You're gonna take your right hand, block off the right nostril, extend the left. You wanna be able to see the left with your peripheral vision, looking straight ahead. Here we go, breathing in, follow the hand with the eyes all the way into the nostrils till you're cross-eyed, and out the right side. Keeping the shoulders relaxed and the hands down, elbows tight to the body, in. Shoulders are relaxed, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Pay attention. In and out 10 times fast fire breath. Breathing in, bring the arm in. Out. Breathing in out 10 times fast fire breath. Breathing in, bring the arm in. Out. 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 Both hands on top of the knees, breathing in. Out. In. Out. You should notice both nostrils working, breathing in on the in breath and the out breath, breathing out. Fire breath. Deep breath in. Tuck the chin. And release. All right, so get a comfortable spot. Get yourselves a real comfortable spot so we can get going. All right, you have your notepad out. This will be a very good time to get that notepad out so we can get going. With the notepad, I'll give you a moment to grab it. Okay, good. So the primary things that we're going to be using, and this is for those of you that may not have ever seen the books before, this is the paperback version of the primary text we're going to be utilizing. It's called Tai Chi Chuan and I Ching. It's by a great grandmaster, Da Lu. So that's one. And then this is the other one that we're going to be utilizing. You may not be able to see it. Oh, there we go. It was Tai Chi Chuan and Meditation. And so we're going to be using those to talk about the subtle energy bodies that we utilize in the practice. And then also, we're going to be using this one when I start talking about the body. This one's called the Anatomy of Martial Arts. This is a simple one. It's designed for hard styles. And by hard style, what I mean is as Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Kendo, Kung Fu. So there's a different way that we use the body and use the muscles in terms of Tai Chi Chuan, but there's only so many ways that you raise your leg. And I can talk about the other pieces in terms of raise the knee, raise the leg, extend the arm, twist the body, move the body. So that's what we're going to be utilizing. Those are the books. And ideally, we utilize Better World books. It was gifted to us as a source from Miss Nancy. Miss Nancy, I'm going to shout her out on the international broadcast. However, betterworldbooks.com. What they do is they donate a book for every book you purchase. So if you get a chance, check them out, research them. If that's otherwise, you can go to your local bookstore, particularly with today's date and it being International Buy Black Day. You can get your Black bookstore to order the book as well. All right, so that being said, we're going to jump in and I'm going to ask some questions and you don't have to identify yourself, but if you know the answer or it's real easy, we just want to go with it because I want to be able to move fairly quickly through this so that way you have an understanding. So we'll do it real quick for folks. So one of them is just, let's talk about, there is a mirrored relationship with the human body. I'm sorry, Miss, go ahead, ma'am. Okay, all right. So there is a mirrored perception of the body. So the feet have how many toes per foot? There we go, excellent, 5 toes per foot, good. And how many fingers on the hand, including the thumb? We're gonna say 5, right. And so they have this series of tiny bones in the feet. Actually, for y'all, what we'll do, we'll just have y'all give me a number with your hands because we get background noise. So we'll do it this way. So how many, what are the, y'all know what those little bones are called? If you got a head nod, give me a head nod. Okay, those are, for those of you that don't know, are called the metatarsal. Okay, those are the tiny bones that support the weight and they're designed that way so you can maximize surface area. Now, in the hands, you have the same thing. What are they called though? They're called a metacarpal. And you know that phrase because of the phrase carpal tunnel or repetitive stress of the carpal joints in the wrist and hand. Okay? So a lot of the work that we do through the general body check-in exercise, remember this that we do with the foot and the hand, designed to get you in touch and to get those tiny bones moving and coordinated and working together. Okay? Just so we can get clear, so the folks have that understanding. Got it? And that's also why, as we move on, you want to punch correctly and appropriately. That's why we don't have a lot of closed hand strikes in terms of Tai Chi Chuan. And the other piece you want to remember is that most of the bones in the human body are found in your hands and your feet. Okay, just want to point that out. You can look at it and check that out later. But the primary thing that we want to utilize is proper orientation. And that's why we spend so much time in the beginning talking about the movements the way that we do. Now, I went on and moved it without talking about it, but you have this wrist joint, which if it was on your foot, we'd just call it an ankle. Same process, same area of movement, same range of movement, okay? Now, between the elbow and the wrist, how many bones do you have? Excellent, 2. Okay, so now between the ankle and the knee, how many bones do you have? Again, excellent, 2. Okay, now your knee joint, we know it's a joint, but primarily it bends a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's a fixed range of motion, and very nasty, very painful things happen if it gets extended beyond that. Your elbow, for most folks, again, fixed range of motion, okay? Now, how many bones between the elbow and the shoulder? One. Okay. Likewise, how many bones are between the knee and the hip? One. All right. So now the hip, the bone where the hips are, it's a type of a structure. And what type of a joint is that called that we got at the hip? We call it a ball and socket joint, right? Yes. Now, if you look at this shoulder, what kind of because it moves a lot like the leg moves. It's if the orientation was slightly different, but what kind of joint is that? It's a ball and socket joint. And now both the shoulders and the hips have this kind of a structure that is designed to support and protect and allow movement at the same time. And they're similar, but they're different because of what other structures connect to them. So the hips are designed to support weight and allow movement. And so in order to support all the different movement, the hip is dispersed. It's not a lot of bone, but the nature of it is designed so that it can disperse and handle weight effectively and efficiently. It also is the house of the seat of what we would call the spinal column. Now, along your back, you have what are called not just vertebrae, but also an entire structure along the back, okay? And so the back all by itself, so I'll show you a picture of the back here, just right in here. So you can see all the blue and white and red there, that's all the musculature that's on the back. And it'll probably be better, as we get, but I want you to see the back because you have a great deal of muscle, great deal of ligament, great deal of tendon connected, but underneath that, well, first you have what we call the viscera, or what is now the word escapes me. Okay, so I'll come back to it. What we're doing is that there's multiple layers to the human body. You got the external layer with the skin. Then you have the underneath layer, which is the subdermis, which is the label escapes me. And so with that, what we want to then have is you have the musculature. You then have the world of the ligaments and tendons, the blood vessels and arteries. And then you get to the bone, and then within the bone, you have the structure of the bone where the blood gets created and the other piece. Yeah, that's right. You got cartilage too to support the joints. And so what we're going to be focusing on for today's session is, and the body gets even more subtle from there. So many of you have heard the terms popularized in yoga, as they call it, chakras. Yes, that's the word. And so what we utilize is we're going to be working underneath the skin is called the fascia. It took me, some of you will tell you, when you get with these things, you're going through this, you have to forgive me. There's the fascia by Western science, they've just discovered it as a way to effectively maximize drug delivery, because each of your organs is wrapped in the fascia. So it's wrapping and connects every single organ top to bottom. And so a great deal of the reason that we move slowly is what we're doing is we're connecting to the fascia of the human body, and we're reprogramming or reorienting it so that it enables us to utilize fluid body movement so the body moves as one whole being, not separate pieces. And that's why we spend time moving slowly. That's why the time is spent in the standing positions the way that they are, so that you have an opportunity to learn and feel your body and enhance your awareness. So with that, we also have what we call the subtle energy bodies, all right? And so now with the subtle energy bodies, I'm going to start first with what y'all already know, which is what is seen as the chakra system. So there are like 7 primary chakras that most people are known, right? There's more than 7, but within the body, most folks deal with 7, okay? Those would be the main ones. We don't want to get too deep. Just not a course on the subtle body parts. But basically, wherever you have a primary joint, you can consider that a joint like a chakra point. So the energy can be transmitted or received from one of those places. However, most people are not aware because there are blockages in place. The other thing that say that most people may be aware of are what are called the Meridian system through our exposure to acupuncture, acupressure, or tantra. Folks have heard of the Meridian systems, yes? Kind of little lines of pathways, energy pathways that move through the body that can be reached through the surface that are connected to different organ systems in the body. All right, so now what I want to be able to do is to share with you from the Taoist and the Chinese healing perspective what are called some subtle, even more subtle energy bodies that we utilize here, which there are, for each organ system, there is a channel on the body. So I'm going to show those to you briefly. And then I'm going to also show you what we call the 8 psychic channels. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of artwork from the Chinese that typically, as martial artists, we tend to cultivate what is known as the 5 excellences. And art or beauty in those practices is considered one of them, because a great deal of what we want to be able to do is to convey concepts and principles. And a lot of times you can do that easier through symbol than you can through word to those folks who everyone may not be literate, so writing it down isn't always helpful. Even today, in most places, everyone's not literate. So if you can convey it in a symbol and then explain it, that makes it a lot easier. So I want to show something really quickly here, because I want folks to understand. Here's a symbol that most of you have seen. And most people call that the yin yang symbol or the Tai Chi symbol, right? Folks are familiar with that? Yes? Okay, so now there's a different way that we actually approach that particular symbol, okay? That I want to get to, because what we do is the Tai Chi symbol, as that represents, actually comes with an older history. So I'm going to just show this image. This is from Tai Chi Chuan and meditation. Just want you to get a look at the picture. You got an open circle at the top, open circle at the bottom. All right. That has a reference. You can get that later. It's a philosophical reference. You'll be able to screenshot it later or whatever. We can get through this from Tai Chi Chuan and meditation. But what it talks about is the combination of the 5 elements and merging through the yin yang. And remember, the yin yang is together. They're not separate. There's no yin without yang. There's no yang without yin. Just so we're clear. So we don't talk about yin separate. And very observant. We aren't going to get heavy in that. But that the other reason that we talk about it is, see here, you see the Tai Chi symbol. 1 is seated meditation. 1 is standing movement, standing meditation. So Tai Chi Chuan is seen as moving meditation. Seated meditation is just that, seated meditation. So we have a variety of meditations that we offer within our system that I just want you to be able to look at. So now, as we talked about, I want to share with you what are known as the 8 psychic channels. So I'm just going to show them to you briefly, because the goal for you to understand is that these 8 psychic channels are the primary energetic channels that we're utilizing through the practice of the Tai Chi Chuan. Through the beginning movements on up through the latter ones, we're utilizing and sending energy through the 8 psychic channels. And as a result of them moving through the psychic channels, that makes the energy available to both the chakras and the meridians. We clear? So they're already moving in your body. So it's not, so when people talk about we're going to get it moving, it's not that it's not already moving, because if it wasn't moving, you'd be dead. What we're talking about is getting it to a place where your body is moving actively and consciously without blockage. And so that is a very different way of having the energy move through your body. So you're moving your energy. Your body's not on autopilot. Got it? Good. So now, and we're going to do this primarily using the male body. No disrespect to our sisters and folks that have different expressions. It's just been the simplest way. It's not my book. So we're going to run it like this. So here is 3 of them. Okay, so we got the Jinmo and the Dumo here. And here you have the Daimo, okay, and the Chingmo. I'm going to show you the last of them. Then we get Yang and Chao here. Just want you to kind of get a look for how they move through the body, up the side, through the middle. And I want you to see how you have a deeper understanding of the body. So those are the 8 psychic channels. Now there are also 12 meridians, which I wanted you to see those real quick, okay? And so I want you to see, so this is, you can read them there. You got lung meridian, kidney meridian, okay? You got your large intestine meridian. Folks got those. All right, good, good, good. This is gallbladder and spleen. I want you to see how they run from different parts of the foot and all around the head and neck. I want you to think about this, okay? See this one here? Got your heart. All right. That was also the triple warmer. This is the bladder and stomach. Okay. Here you got the heart, governor, and the small intestine. And our last one is the liver meridian, okay? So those are the meridians, all right? Now, what I wanted you to see is that through the breathing that we do, the breathing hits all of those areas. Now, what I also want you to think about is, this is the way that massage also works as a body cleansing therapy, because it's accessing these points. These are one of the concepts of the ways that reflexology works, because they're connected to the hands and feet primarily along these particular general meridians, subtle meridians, and subtle pathways that enable you to access your body from places that don't directly engage that organ. So if you're having an issue with a particular part of your body, you don't have to rub that part of your body that may be hurting. You can use your foot, you can use your hands. You can also do a particular part of the form, because part of our Qigong and part of our form also activates those particular meridians, those particular energy or body systems, to provide you an opportunity to directly connect. And while we won't get into it today, the other piece is that if we lightly clench the jaw, place the tongue in the soft palate as a way to bridge between the Jinmo and the Dumo, but to get the energy flowing all the way through, but also that your teeth are also connected to the different organ systems as well. So you want to be able to connect those. The other piece I want to talk about is that your teeth, that why I promote sunlight so much is that for men, but most importantly for women, there's a direct relationship between the optical nerve and the health of the uterus. And so that the better pure sunlight that you get works on maintaining uterine health. Now, to get further in depth in that, you want to talk to our midwives, okay? And they can then tell you and share with you a great deal of the women's body and the women's information. As I said, I have access to that information. That is not my role or function on the planet to disseminate that information. Given the way in which I have been taught, there are some things that I know that I can share, but in terms of the healing of the feminine body in those regards, the midwives house that information, and it's best that it be heard from or gathered from them. And what you will notice is that in the Khemetic Ahan Sema Association, we have a partnership and a very intimate relationship with the doulas and midwives in our community, and that's the primary reason. It is a trauma-informed liberatory practice that we want to be able to help folks move through the challenges that they face in their bodies. And the way that this works is that we aid people in reclaiming the sovereignty of their body. And through that process, they are then able to access the more subtle regions and aid in cultivating a more whole, a more full walk on the planet. So in terms of our practice, every day, what we do enables you to connect with those different meridians, those different pathways in your body. And we utilize them specifically as a way to heal you, as a way to get your body on one page, utilizing the fascia. I'm looking for one last picture to show, to illustrate to you what I'm talking about in terms of your health. So here it is. So now I know it's a tiny picture, but what I want you to get is to just take a look real quick. From the bottom, you'll see a lake, and then you'll see some fire and some water moving, and you'll see another lake, and you'll see some more fire, all the way up to the happy folks up in the mountains. So you're moving from earth all the way up through the realm of humanity into the heavens. Got it? And that was from the stone engraving that was found in the White Cloud Temple in Peking. All right? So you saw the photo, yes? Good. So not photo, it's a rendering, artist rendering. But from that particular drawing, what I want you to think about is when you come to our class, our Tai Chi Chuan class in Kenny Han Park, I want you to pay attention to the physical environment there and how that is designed as a symbolic metaphor for the body in the way in which we use it, and an understanding of how the body and works, even down to the way of the human body and its relationship to the Nile River, its relationship to the mountains of the moon and the flowing from the south to the north. All right, it's the only river on the planet that moves that way. So there is a great connection between the human body as microcosm and the macrocosm that exists both on this planet and the larger microcosm outwardly that we look at upon the sun, moon, and star, which is why you'll see that iconography, symbology, and cosmology replicated in most spiritual systems. All right. Thank you for your attention. I know we kind of flew through, but I really wanted to get you to understand the basics very quickly. We'll come back and we'll cover it as we talk about, we go in depth with sunrises over the mountain and ward off right and left on the next session. And in that session, what we'll also do is incorporate what are the psychic channels that are being utilized in terms of moving and flowing the energy through, what's happening with the body, so that you can just get a deeper understanding. And for those of you that are kind of moving into a more advanced level, you can begin your practice shifting it through our individual sessions where we could check in and see how you're utilizing and the energy is moving through your body. So I want to thank you for your participation, your attendance. Thank you very much. And we say to all the masters that have gone before us, we bow. Teacher to student to teacher. To prove, peace to you, Anku Ja Seneb, life, health, and strength. See you all soon. Thank you for your participation and attendance.